What's up, duelists? Road to Nats episode 5, and I'm back again with the agent of creation, Venus. Shout out Thunderblunder, of course. This deck, actually, I've been thinking about it off camera a lot, and I'm like, this deck is so clean, dude. All it has is like 37 really good cards and then like 3 shine balls. And I'm like, man, if you just don't draw your shine balls and you like see a Venus, or even if you do draw your shine balls and you draw like Heralds and Christia, it's still a really good deck. Like, oh man, this deck is just nasty. It's got all of the stuff that I want out of a deck. Crazy boss monsters, crazy removal, really good monster effects, hand traps. You're not weak to anything. You got Soul Exchange to just like clear stuff. You got Caius, the best monster in the format, next to Christia. You got Sork, which is busted. You got Allure, which I've made a change, of course, since yesterday's video. I cut one Herald of Purple Light. This card's pretty dog shit. The only reason I have this one in here is because I need 15 fairies for like math reasons. But I think I might switch it over to a Herald of Green Light, because spending 2 cards to negate like a D Prison or something is bad. You'll see in the replays I have for you guys today, this card is not very good. I think Herald of Green Light might be better, but I'm not sure. I might need to add another fairy in this part here just to make sure we have the right numbers. But yeah, no, this deck's really solid. I cut one of those for a Battle Fader, and then I added Allure because we now have 9 Darks. So we can actually support this Allure of Darkness in the main. And then in the sideboard, I was able to add 1 Book of Moon to help us deal with Vanity's Fiend. That card's kind of an issue. We do have 2 enemy controllers, switch to defense. We do have 3 Soul Exchange. We do have Brain Control. So we have 6 spell outs to Vanity's Fiend already. And then we have 2 Honest. So we have roughly 8 outs to Vanity's Fiend. But that's still not as much as I would really like, because if they stick it and you don't have it, you're just like, bruh. I guess Torrential kind of counts if you have it at the right moment. But yeah, I would like to have an additional 10th or 11th out to Vanity's Fiend. So I added a Book of Moon, and I also added Tragodia to the side. This card's really good in some matchups. I think it's like good in general. It could probably be in the main over the Battle Fader, but right now I'm pretty high on Battle Fader because it means we don't take damage. This deck does start at 6,500 if you start with the Agent of Creation Venus, so preventing that damage is pretty important. I think it's a little bit more important than having like a big spidery boy, especially when we have Heralds. In some matchups, you're going to side the Heralds out, and that's when Tragodia really shines, because you're not discarding your whole hand and making him a weak little boy. So yeah, same stuff as yesterday. Sideboard is the same stuff as yesterday. Let's go ahead and get into the matches. I'm playing against Monster Gamer, and he's playing Hero Beat. So this is the first match we tested together. I win the rock, paper, scissors, which always feels good, especially with a deck like this. And I open up with the Agent of Creation Venus. That being said, though, I'm going to normal summon Thunder King Ryo, because this guy is better. He shuts off E-Calls, he shuts off Rotas, he shuts off that type of stuff. And then next turn I can go for the Agent of Creation Venus if I need to. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was shutting off everything on the first turn of the game. This is a pretty disciplined play. I'm not really sure if it's correct or not. But again, I also don't know what I'm playing against, and I kind of want to represent the Thunder King turn 1. I don't want them to like summon Ashura turn 1 and then give me a lot of trouble, or I don't want them to summon like a Fire Dog turn 1 and give me a lot of trouble. I kind of just want to have Thunder King with set econ to defend myself here. Now, the one thing that punishes Thunder King is a summon Sirocco. So if they summon Sirocco, I don't know what he's playing yet. I still don't know what he's playing. If he summons Sirocco and he attacks Thunder King, then we can switch it to defense with enemy controller. Next turn, we can Agent of Creation, bring out 2 Shine Balls, run it over with Agent of Creation, hit for 2,900. And then just be up. We have Herald plus Brain. We've dealt 2,900. We can maybe bridge a way into the late game that way. So, yeah. He just starts off with set a bunch of cards and pass, which is really good for us. We pick up that Herald of Purple Light, which is garbage. I go ahead and just slam this, though, because we can play into Torrential. It's not ideal to play into Torrential, but we can. And then I just activate it twice. He chains Skill Drain. And I think for a long time here about negating it with Herald of Purple Light. And I'm like, okay, so right now he has 5 other cards, right? He has 5 other cards. And right now we have Venus, Thunder King, Enemy Controller. So that's 3 cards. Then we've got a Herald, which is essentially -1. So 4 cards. And then Brain Control, 5 cards. So we have 5 cards. So if we negate this Skill Drain, he will end up on top if all of our cards trade down. He will end up on top. So I can't afford to negate the Skill Drain. I have to treat it like card disadvantage. Even though it does mean we don't get our Shine Balls, we don't really have a great way to convert off of them outside of the Herald of Orange Light anyway, so I'm just not going to grab the Shine Balls. I'm just going to attack with both my monsters, and we'll try to trade down and then leave us with 1 card at the end. This is kind of a way to look at Yu-Gi-Oh! In general, This is like, I don't know if you guys have ever played chess, but basically chess, when both people are like defending a piece, or like let's say I'm attacking your piece with something. I'm like, your piece is attacked by my queen or whatever. Then I defend my queen with one piece and you defend your thing with one piece. That's kind of what's happening here. Is like I have so many resources and he has so many resources, and when we trade down, I want to be on top with resources. I want to be the last person with a resource. So if I negate this skill drain, he's winning the initiative in terms of like resources. And like, what am I losing by letting this skill drain resolve? Not much. I mean, he can activate his cards under Thunder King now. Most decks that play skill drain also play emergency call and Rhoda, but at the same time, he's also quintessentially down a card himself, and he loses his own monster effects, which can be better for us because it becomes a damage race, and he's already down to 7,000, and he's going to take another 35, so he's going to be down to actually 3,500 this turn, and then we have brain control to potentially close things out. So yeah, also enemy controller as well. So we have two ways to steal things to potentially close things out. Here he goes for Mirror Force, and this I actually do have to Herald of Purple Light. So even though this is a 2-for-1, at least I'm forcing in the damage. So yeah, the Herald of Purple Light happens here. And this is an argument for Herald of Purple Light, but again, not many decks are playing Skill Drain, so not many decks are giving us this functional 2-for-2. Yeah, he takes 16, he takes 19, and then yeah, we pass. He normal summons Elemental Hero Captain Gold, so he reveals that he is on Hero Beat. This can attack over our Thunder King Ryo, but we can just take it with Brain Control, or we could switch it to defense here with Brain Control. He attacks the Thunder King. I actually switched it to defense here. He Solemns, putting him even lower, and now the Brain Control is just game. So yeah, pay a little too much life points here with these guys, and yeah, you just get cooked. That's kind of the issue with playing cards like Skill Drain and Solemn Judgment early, is that you pay too many life points, and sometimes you just randomly die to like whatever's left over. Here I show him the Brain Control, and we go to the next game. So in that game, Herald of Purple Light was decent. It was okay. But again, not many people are playing Skill Drain, and we also had like a very specific combination of cards to make it good, if that makes sense. We're going second this game. Our hand is a little bit clunkier. We do have Doom Caliber Knight, which is good. We do have Royal Decree, which could potentially steal us a game, and we do have Light and Darkness Dragon, which is good. So I'm not like upset with this hand. There's actually a lot of different ways to approach it, to play this hand. He goes Stratos Search Alias, so we do have to be careful of Spark on our Decree. But if he doesn't have Spark for our Decree, it could be a potential way we win this game. So he sets 3 and passes. We pick up Gores. Now, I think this is my biggest misplay this game. I think my biggest misplay was I summoned Doom Caliber Knight. There's a lot of different ways to play this, right? If I summon Doom Caliber Knight, on his turn, he summons Alias. He tries to crash with Doom Caliber. That means his Spark is offline. That means we have Royal Decree. And then we can drop Gore. So, like, let's say you go summon Alias, attack the Doom Cal, attack directly with Stratos. We drop Gores. We can then tribute summon Lad, have Gores in the grave to come back when Lad dies, and just be crushing it. And then we also have Decree for the late game. We can also use Light and Darkness to basically force that Gemini Spark, bring out the Gores, and then, yeah, just be in a good spot. Alternatively, I can summon Doom Caliber Knight and attack his Stratos. And then if he removes it with the trap card, then we can drop Gores and basically still have the same position. We could even go like, but then he would have the Alias in play, but he'd be down a trap card. And I didn't really want to trade with any of his trap cards because I have Royal Decree, and I figured, oh, Royal Decree will trade for all of his trap cards. So I don't really want to trade with the Doom Caliber Knight with the Stratos here, or Doom Caliber Knight with like a Deep Prison. Even though it would hit a bottomless, like that's okay. That's going to happen no matter what. We won't get an opportunity to use both Decree and have Gores up before we can summon the Doom Caliber Knight anyway. But if I summon it and I attack and he has like Mirror Force or Deep Prison, it will force the Mirror Force or Deep Prison, and then I won't get as much equity as out of my Royal Decree this game again. So I summon the Doom Caliber Knight and I don't attack. But I think in hindsight, it's correct to attack, because if I attack, also not attacking signifies that I don't maybe have Gores. If I attack, maybe he thinks I have Gores. He doesn't attack me directly with the Alias or something, which could complicate things. I don't know. There's just a lot of different ways this game could play out. But basically, I can't set the Decree yet because I have Gores in hand. and I can't shut off my own Gores. And then I also can't really attack because I want to get max value out of my decree. But I think I probably should have attacked, because if I attack and then he just plays into Gores, then we drop Gores. On our turn, we double stack for Lad. You know, we have Lad out, and we're like just initiative. And there's also the chance that he summons Alias or doesn't summon Alias and then just doesn't attack my Doom Caliber Knight, and we fall further behind on board. So, yeah, and that's exactly what happens. He finds another monster that can destroy our Doom Caliber Knight. That also isn't going to be attacking us. And so now we're just falling really behind on board, and I'm basically forced to go Soul Exchange into Light and Darkness Dragon in order to not fall behind. So I could do that, or no, that's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's the only play. I could do that, or I guess I could just attack the Snowman Eater, and then like, again, I'm in the same position, but I'm behind a full normal summon. If he has a trap card. So let's say he uses Deep Prison, right? Now he has Snowman Eater plus Alias, and he attacks into Gores, and I'm boned. So, yeah, I ended up getting screwed pretty hard this game by not attacking the first turn. I don't know how to describe this very well, but I'm trying to think of it. He made this smart play. He didn't play into Gores. He didn't play too aggressively. He leaned on his battle traps, which he does have a bunch of here. And yeah, we get kind of owned for it. So yeah, I have to Soul Exchange into Light and Darkness. He doesn't Solemn it, and we're able to set Decree. So this is misplay probably number 2 this game, is setting the Decree behind my Lad. But I figured if I attack with Lad, and he has like Mirror Force plus Deep Prison, I'll want to chain Royal Decree to keep my Lad around, right? Wrong. I want my Lad to die so I can drop Gores. And then I want to have Decree for after my Gores. So it doesn't end up mattering because he has the Spark anyway. So because he has the Spark, it doesn't end up mattering. But he does make a mistake here. We do draw Shine Ball. This happens, again, like 1 out of 3 games in a match. You just draw Shine Balls. We attack the Stratos. He goes Mirror Force, Chain Deep Prison. We do have Chain Decree. And this is where he makes his mistake. He chains Gemini Spark target. Well, I guess it's not necessarily a mistake. Depends on what you want to play around. He chains Gemini Spark targeting the Decree. So what he could have done instead was just Mirror Force. We negate the Mirror Force, and then he chains the Spark, target the Light and Darkness Dragon. He saves a Deep Prison. He doesn't spend this extra Deep Prison, and Light and Darkness Dragon will blow up our Decree anyway. So he could have gotten like basically 2 for 1 or 3 for 1, I think. Wait, how much is it? 1, 2, 3, but then he draws a card, so it's 2 cards for our 2 cards. 2 for 2. He could have got a 2 for 2 instead of a 3 for 2, but he 3 for 2s himself, and so he pops the Decree, and then Lad gets banished. Now the reason he might be doing this is to play around Chaos Sorcerer to keep us out of a Light and Grave, but I mean, like, you're spending a Deep Prison to play around a card that's at 1. And, like, if Chaos Sorcerer comes down, you have a couple of ways to deal with it already. So, I don't think it's that big of an issue. I feel like you just want to save the Deep Prison. It's a little bit better of a play. Anyway, I pass the turn. He has, like, just the nuts here. And, yeah, it's just hard to beat. He attacks for 11. We have Gores after the Stratos connects. He does attack into it. He never really had to attack into it, but he did. He goes ahead and bounces, sets 2, passes. We draw our own Honest. I switch Gores. I switch the token. I attack the Stratos. He has the second Deep Prison, which is really tough. So he has a lot of battle traps this game, and that worked out really well in his favor, because our deck doesn't necessarily play into Bottomless that poorly. The only thing that really gets Bottomless is our like openers, but stuff like Light and Darkness Dragon and Christia, like going into Bottomless, it's not so bad because you like immediately get a plus at the very least. And Gores, like the battle traps and stuff, Caius, they play into Bottomless pretty well as well. So it is a little bit unlucky that he had triple battle trap there to deal with our Gores, but at the same time, like, we could have sequenced this game quite a few different ways, which is really intriguing because we only really had like 2 or 3 cards that we could play, and the like depth and the amount of ways we could have played them was there was a lot there. Anyway, the Stratos attacks the token. I have to activate Honest here. I can't really lose my board. He bounces his Honest. He's behind a normal summon, but then yeah, we find Thunder King. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I probably should have summoned it, but I was a little afraid of Torrential. It's a good thing I didn't summon it because He does have torrential, so yeah, I think I just set the shine ball and pass. He sets passes, and now I'm like forced to play into torrential. I tribute the summon the Sidra, but he has trap hole, which is insane. So he has a lot of trap cards this game, and we kind of just fall apart into it because we set our decree behind the lad. But no matter what had happened, so like on that turn, like where he has Alias Stratos, no matter what had happened, if we didn't set the decree, our lad's getting banished to deep prison, and then he will have the spark later for the decree. So we're damned if we don't and damned if we do. We would have to have like somehow forced the spark and then set the decree afterward to like have a shot this game. And I don't see that happening given what we drew. So I think no matter what, this decree was gonna fall to the spark, given how I would have played it. So yeah. I do find Chaos Sorcerer at some point, which is good because he is kind of live. I try to banish here, but he does end up having the torrential, which is really disgusting. So yeah, we get played pretty hard here, and then I think he has double miracle, which is impressive, Or maybe he doesn't have double miracle. We have double shine ball. Yeah, that's what it is. He has skill drain. He attacks the set. Again, both games of skill drain not really doing that much. We pick up Caius. We have one more turn to survive. If he doesn't draw a monster, we drop to 100. He sets another back row. We draw brain control, and that's going to be that. So yeah, that was game 2. We did break pretty hard, but given how much we drew and how much we were able to play, like we played like 5 cards maybe, and we were able to play through a lot of his cards as a result. And on top of that, he had to top deck a miracle to close things out. So yeah, it was an interesting game. I think that there's a lot to be learned from that play sequence. And I don't know. It just goes to show how deep like Yu-Gi-Oh is as a game. Even like in the more simpler game states, there's a lot of complex situations. This hand's a lot better. We have Decree going first, so if he doesn't have Spark, that's like GG. We also have both Doom Caliber and Thunder King, and I like both of these. I do lead on Doom Caliber because I want to be able to stop both Stratos and Deep Sea Diva if he's playing it. I set Royal Decree, pass a turn. He sets a monster, passes a turn. We pick up Agent of Creation Venus. A little bit punished for not leading on Thunder King, unfortunately, because now we can't get our Christie online, but our hand is stacked. Like, this is, like, probably the best possible hand we could have. We have Decree for all the traps, and then we have pretty much a guaranteed Christie at some point in the game. So here I attack the Honest. I actually decide to brain control the Honest now, and then double tribute for Christia. I didn't want to trade Honest for Doomcal, and I also didn't want to summon Thunder King in case he had brain control to own us. So I didn't want to get 2 for 1 by brain control. So I double tribute for Christia. This also stops Diva from happening, which can be a problem for us. He summons Elemental Hero Neos Alias. He attacks. We say nothing. He goes for Gemini Spark. So he reveals he doesn't have another Honest, basically. He's going to Spark our monster, the Christia. So we're going to draw Dead Christia next turn, but we have Agent of Creation Venus to turn it online. And we have Royal Decree to make sure he gets forced through. So he sets one, we end phase Decree. It's usually bad to end phase Decree, but I wanted to play around specifically Solemn Judgment, and it worked out really well. Here I summon the Agent of Creation. I bring out all 3 Shine Ball, and I attack for 3,100. So he drops down to 49. The life totals actually are going to start mattering, because we're going to engage in a life race here. He's going to summon a dude. He's going to attack my dude. I'm going to summon a dude. I'm going to attack him. I could have started off with Thunder King to prevent Stratos and Captain Gold, but it wasn't on my radar because he hadn't played it up until this point in the game. He does top deck e-call. He e-calls for Captain Gold and he grabs Skyscraper. So I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. He summons Ocean, activates Skyscraper, attacks the Venus, and then we take some damage. We pick up Soul Exchange, which could be very useful if we need to clear an absolute 0. So I go for double Tribute Christia, switch the Shine Ball to defense because we're now in a life race situation. Whoever takes the most damage or whoever takes a big chunk of damage, I don't want him to go like, I don't know, like brain control, like Book of Moon or something, and then Miracle Fusion, attack over my Shine Ball for 2,000. Because then I'm in a spot where I can never really attack into the absolute 0 because then I'll die on the crackback. So I need to make sure my Shine Ball's in defense here, basically. I attack over the Ocean with Christia. He takes 1,300. I pass the turn. He draws Stratos off the top, which is insane. He could have grabbed Stratos last turn to grab the Captain Gold, but he wanted to get his Ocean in the grave because I'm assuming he does have a Miracle. And as you can see, he has 2. So it's important that we have this Christia going. He finds Alias. He attacks into Christia. It deals one. Doesn't deal anything, actually. They just trade because of the Skyscraper. Skyscraper really helping him out here. He Miracle Fusions into Absolute 0. And then because we do have this soul exchange, we're able to soul exchange, target the absolute zero, sack both for Christia. Christia goes to the top. And because we didn't take that like a bajillion damage last turn over our Shine Ball, we are actually winning this life race, but only barely. Only barely. So yeah, he goes summon, summon, and we have Battle Fader to stop this attack. So we go special Battle Fader. On our turn, we can special Christia, add back Agent of Creation Venus. Now, as tempting as it is to summon Thunder King, we actually have to summon Agent of Creation Venus, because when our board gets blown up by this absolute zero, well, actually, it's not tempting to summon Thunder King. It's stupid to summon Thunder King, let's be honest. When our board gets blown up, it puts us back to 4 fairies, so we can resummon the Christia that we draw. So we go Agent of Creation over the Ocean for 100. You have to attack the Ocean first because he pumps up the absolute zero. If you if you attack the absolute zero and like it wasn't pumped up, it would blow up your board and we couldn't run over the Ocean and we just fall apart. So yeah, you have to attack the Ocean first. Attack the absolute zero. That's gonna blow up our whole board. I misclick a bunch of times here. Christia goes back to the top, but provided he just has normal summon Guy, I can special Christia, add back Venus, normal that, attack, and then be okay. And so he goes Rhoda for Alias, normal summon Guy, and I'm like, please, no Spark, no anything. He's already spent 2 miracles. If he has another miracle, like it's Jover, folks, it's Jover, but he doesn't. Thank God. And then we find Christia, we special Christia. We add back Agent of Creation Venus. I normal summon the Agent of Creation. I attack over Alias. He doesn't have the second Honest, thank God. And then I attack for 1600. He drops to 700. Brain Control is now off the table. He draws for turn. He normals Alias. He attacks the Christia. But we have Thunder King saved till the end to crash with the Alias. And then Agent of Creation Venus attack directly. So, yeah, Royal Decree absolutely putting in work, getting us a nice 2-for-1, and making sure we can go for our Christia loop. And then our game plan of like setting up the 4 fairies like immediately with Agent of Creation Venus was really good. It also gave us the tribute fodder to be in this game with the Christia. So we crash and then we attack directly, and that's match 1. So there's a lot to look at in this game. There was a lot of positional gameplay, which is like kind of the stuff that I think about a lot in this game. I think playing the game matters more than like your deck in a lot of instances. Oftentimes we see a lot of decks like top or do well that aren't good. They aren't good decks. And like I think a lot of it comes down to like how you play the cards more than anything else in this format, and that's why I think this format is so goated. Because I'm playing let's be real, like the Shine Ball deck is probably not that good, but here I am beating like one of the most popular decks. And it's not like he played poorly at all. Like he just played the cards he was dealt, but I was navigating the cards like by like sequencing my stuff, and like the way I had like planned out the game, it like kind of worked out well, and I had Royal Decree to like kind of give me that competitive edge in terms of like card advantage. So very interesting stuff. Match 2, let's check out match 2. Match 2 was really hype as well. This one was very close. It was one of the better matches I've played, I think ever. We open up with Does Shoot, which is pretty bad in this matchup. Well, I actually don't know what he's playing because he left the game and then he joined again, and I still don't know what he's playing, which is good. I think that makes for better testing. When you're playing against someone and you don't know what they're bringing, it makes for better testing. So this was ideal. I actually still don't know what he's bringing. So my hand is like maybe good, maybe bad. I pick up Enemy Controller. I set Does Shoot. I'm like, I have Gores. Gores is a good card. I've got Enemy Controller plus Soul Exchange. If I draw a Tribute Monster, I'm living. So I trap Does Shoot. And his hand's actually terrifying. He has double Miracle, Spine Gilman, E-Call. Like, he just has the nuts. Like, this is going to be a very difficult hand to navigate. He goes E-Call for Stratos. Stratos grab Alias, attack me directly for 1800, and I drop Gores. So I'm like, okay, I have Gores now. His Miracle's not live till next turn. And then I pick up Doom Caliber, and I'm like, dude, Doom Caliber is so good. It was like the best. It was like either Doom Caliber or Lad. Like I needed to top deck something really strong, or Christia. Christia would have been very good. So I did have a fair number of top decks. If you look at the list, we have triple Doom Cal, double Lad, so it's 5, 8 plus the Christias. So I had a fair number of top decks that were very good here, obviously. But like being able to draw one of them is very nice. So I'm able to summon Doom Cal and then attack with all my monsters for a bunch of damage. He can set the Gilman. So this is what I'm thinking. He can set the Gilman, activate Miracle Fusion, bring out Absolute Zero, attack us. But the issue is his grave isn't stacked. He draws a third Miracle. Dude, we would have got destroyed if we didn't draw Doom Caliber that turn, pretty much. I think it was like Doom Caliber, Christia, Lad. We would have got murdered. But yeah, we didn't, which is based. I mean, we wouldn't have maybe got murdered. We would have dealt a lot of damage. Like, let's say we had like Thunder King or something. We would have dealt a lot of damage, and then maybe we would have been like looking to top deck some ways to force in damage with like enemy controller or with Caius or with brain control. So it wouldn't have been just Jover, but it would have been like a much closer game, I think, had we not top decked Doom Caliber. He goes Miracle Fusion. He banishes his 2 monsters, but like I said, he doesn't have another elemental hero in the graveyard or water monster, so he can't miracle away this absolute 0 to force our Doom Caliber Knight. So the only thing he can do is attack the Doom Caliber Knight. We can enemy controller switch it to defense. We know the rest of his hand except for 1 card. We don't know 1 card. He goes ahead and passes a turn. He doesn't set it, so he basically confirms that he doesn't have a piece of interaction. On our turn, we pick up the Agent of Creation Venus. So what I can do is I can just summon this, and it's actually exact lethal. So I summon Agent of Creation Venus. What I was thinking before is like I could go like I lost my train of thought. Yeah, we would have to attack over it with Gores, attack directly with the token, and then we would have been put in the spot where like where Doom Caliber negates this, and then we have Herald to negate the next one, I think was the game plan. If we had drawn a fairy. I don't really know. I don't really know what I was thinking. But yeah, Doom Caliber attacks, and then this is 3,400. So we top decked a monster to kill him, basically, which is based and deserved, honestly. Yeah. So the deck delivers. The deck delivers very nicely. Doom Caliber Knight very broken. Trap Dust Shoot very broken. And we had a really solid start there. We were able to navigate through the triple miracle threat, which is really close. This was like one of those games where it's like we had to see some very specific cards to like maybe not very specific because again, like I said, we play 8 of them, so it's an 8-outer. We could have also drawn a fairy to make our Herald live. So there's a lot of combinations that were okay there, but that was the last match. But we managed to draw it in this order, which was the best one because Doom Caliber Knight allowed us to deal that much damage and not have to fight through multiple miracles. Game 2, we side up. The way I was siding in this matchup, I think I didn't take a screenshot of it. I'm bad. I was basically siding in the 2 decrees over our 2 trap cards. And then I was siding in, I think that's the Cyber Dragons. Yeah, I think I was siding in the Cyber Dragons, 1 over Doom Cal and 1 over, I think, Lad. I was siding out 1 Lad and 1 Doom Cal for 2 Cyber Dragons. I might not have been siding out the Doom Cows. I might have been siding out Purple Light. Oh, actually, it might have been Orange Light. Yeah, it was 1 Orange Light, 1 Light and Darkness for 2 Cyber Dragon. And I was also bringing in the Decrees. And that's how I was siding. I could have also sided in the Trag. I think I might have sided it in over 1 Doom Cal, depending on if I was going first or second. And then I thought about siding the Vanity's Fiends, but I didn't. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Anyway, Game 2, we open up Agent of Creation, which is amazing. Oh, don't want to show his hand. We open up Agent of Creation Venus, which is really, really good, obviously. We do have a Shine Ball, but we have a Herald, so it's fine. We grab 2 Shine Balls out of the deck, and then I attack into his set Honest, and then I drop Trag, which is amazing. So I did side in the Trag. Yeah, I sided it in going second. And this is just such an insane spot for Tragodia. Had it been Snowman Eater or Honest, I could special summon it, run it over. And now my board is like hella set up. I have 8 cards. I mean, the Mystical Shine Balls aren't real cards, but I have conversions. I have Caius and I have Orange Light. So I can run over this Honest, destroy it, and we have Brain Control Caius. We have a lot of ways to take control of this game. He draws Return, he summons Gilman, he attacks over the Venus. If you look at his hand, he's drawn a lot of the Deep Sea Diva stuff, and he's drawn a dead Hero Blast. And this is the issue with the Deep Sea Diva hero decks. Like, look at this hand. This is a good hand, right? Like, this is, like, legit a good hand. But he drew his Gilman. I don't know if he was playing 2 Gilman or 1 Gilman. If he's only playing 1 Gilman, immediately his Divas are bad. So you kind of... I feel like you kind of have to play 2 Gilmans in this list. I know he's playing the Captain Gold and Skyscraper as well as the Skill Drain, so maybe he's only on the 1 Gilman. But I do think you need to have 2 Gilmans if you play this. Because if you draw the 1, it kills 4 cards in your deck. And that's just so bad. But yeah, he doesn't have that. I mean, even if he had that, right? Like, what is he doing? Is he just, like, making a Catastor, crashing with, like, attacking over the Venus? Like, it's not even good. Either that or he's making Androides attacking to the Tragodia. Like, also not even good, really. Like, what are you doing? Like, and then you're just losing to these beating you down while I have Caius and Brain Control and Herald of Orange Light threatening you. And then on top of that, if he goes Diva Summon Special Gilman, I can just fucking Herald that shit if I want to, and then just hit him for 1,000,000 and then have Brain Caius for game. So it really doesn't even matter if he had it in the deck or not for this match, because you look at this hand, like, Heavy Storm, he has to have it for Royal Decree. If he doesn't have it, then Royal Decree owns him. Miracle Fusion, you can't afford to cut those. And then Hero Blast, like, are you really siding those out? It's like kind of your advantage engine. So this is just the issue with the Diva Hero Beat deck is like if you put it under a little bit of early pressure, this is how Frogs usually beats the deck as well too, and they don't have the specific synergy they need to go off, then they just immediately fall apart. That's like the weakness. It's like a full synergy deck. It's a lot of like Miracle, Hero Blast, Gemini Spark. All those cards need an alias somewhere specific. A lot of these cards need Stratos in your hand to be able to do anything, and if you just miss on that Stratos, like you're probably losing that game, which is very unfortunate. We attack over the Gilman. I don't want to play into Torrential here, and then I just set the Decree because again, I have Decree. I can stop this. I think he goes Heavy Storm. No, he goes Diva first. He should have heavied first, but it doesn't end up mattering. Yeah, it looks like he's not playing the second Gilman. Not that it really matters, again, because we have Herald of Orange, and because he didn't summon the Diva last turn, and I don't know if he shuffled his hand. Yeah, he didn't shuffle his hand, so I saw where he summoned the Diva from. I knew he didn't have another Gilman in his deck because he chose to summon Gilman last turn instead of Diva, so I didn't herald it. And this is why you should always shuffle your hand on Dueling Book, because I get free information, basically. Trap Hole gets set here, but that doesn't matter. I am Phase Decree. I draw Christia, and then I switch my boys. I brain control one of these. I double sack for, or I don't double sack. I synchro into Thought Ruler, and then I'm able to special summon Christia, add back Agent of Creation Venus, and attack for game. So, yeah, pretty crazy match, pretty close one. I got to show off, of course, the power of Royal Decree in both of these games. I think Royal Decree is insane when you have like a shitload of hand traps. Like when you have like a ton of ways to interact, like Trag, Herald of Orange, Honest, Gores, Battle Fader, etc. Royal Decree becomes really good. I think this is part of the reason why Carpath was able to win Deck Devastators, is because he had Royal Decree plus like, I think it was like 9 or 10 hand traps. And I think that strategy is really good. And then on top of that, instead of playing like the really reactive Shining Angels and reactive Nova Summoners, I'm playing the very proactive Agent of Creation Venus. Like the list is just all proactive cards. Doom Caliber, Thunder King, very proactive cards. They're like, I'm going to attack you for 19, and you better have an out to this. Light and Darkness Dragon, you better have the out. Like very proactive cards. And then on top of that, Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange, it's reactive in a sense, but it's proactive because it's contributing to you summoning a proactive card like Caius or Light and Darkness Dragon or Christia. So I think the deck is really solid. I'm really happy with it. I think the final test for this strategy is going to be Black Wings. I think that's going to be the hardest matchup. Like if you're looking at this deck on paper, it theoretically should get absolutely butchered by Black Wings. Like this does not look like it has a good Black Wing matchup. So that's going to be the final test for this deck. If I can get this deck looking good versus Black Wings, then I can say for certainty that like playing an agent deck in Edison format is legit. And once again, shout out the agency for my agency W's over Monster Gamer. No, I'm just kidding. Monster Gamer's my boy. He was just testing out some new strats and stuff. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I like this deck a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next installation. Peace.